It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's L.A.R.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Losses Above Replacement, our second episode of the week. This is the greatest baseball podcast, two great years. I'm today's host, Mathias Altman-Kurosaki, and with me, as always, we have my amazing co-hosts, our hopeful LCS participants, Alex Clark and Ryan Splash Potts. Gentlemen, first things first, this is our second episode this week. I was not on the first one. Obviously, I'm sure you guys did a great job holding it down. But
we definitely had a time.
I'm sure.
It was.
How are you guys doing on this Saturday afternoon for Splash and I, morning for you, Alex? How are you guys doing?
I had to wake up early to do this. What the heck? No. I am a ball of emotions right now. I have so much anxiety, excitement, fear going into today here. I'm actually going to the game today here to go watch Seattle against Detroit. The first play, this will actually be my very first time ever going to a playoff game. I am so unbelievably excited. I should say a Mariner baseball playoff game, to be very clear. So I'm not quite sure what to expect here. The last one that was in Seattle, I did not get to go to because my ticket was for the next day here. And I was actually at a casino watching the game here, all 18 innings of it. That beautiful, beautiful game. Yes, they lost. It was still a marvel for me. But yeah, I'm so excited right now, and I'm glad I can get out a little bit of that excitement by talking with y'all today.
I unfortunately am on the injured list, along with the entire Ravens team. It's 2021 all over again, and for those familiar, 2021 was not a particularly good year for the Baltimore Ravens. It's depressing that the entire team, like the Ravens, legitimately have half the team injured, and it's all the star players. Like if you walked down the street and said, "Name someone on the Baltimore Ravens," he's on the injured list.
Yep.
And other than Mark Andrews, basically, he's like the only semi-fan. He's not even that famous, but he's like the 8th most famous Raven. But he's the healthiest or the best Raven that's not injured, I guess. So that's how I'm doing. So go Vanderbilt today, by the way.
Yeah. Obviously, I was not here for the wild card predictions. I spent my vacation not caring as much about baseball, if I'm being honest. But I guess it was convenient that we timed it at the end of September and the first few days of October. That my dad pointed out that all of a sudden there's a lot less nerves because our team isn't playing anymore.
Yeah, being a Seattle Mariner fan usually.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to it too because there are only so many years where the Mets are actually in the playoffs.
Yeah, a lot more than Seattle has been.
Fun fact, 19 years ago today, I watched Paul LaDuca tag out 2 base runners at home plate at Shea Stadium in NLDS Game 1. Carlos Delgado, I think it may have been the bottom of that half inning, hit the ball on top of the structure where they had an organ. It was maybe the longest home run I've ever seen in person. But that was in 2006. The first real full season I was invested in baseball, and I think my 6-year-old self got a little too comfortable with expecting greatness there, and then the years that followed proved otherwise.
I have a memory as like a little kid walking in Safeco Field here after 2001. This is either in 2001 or after 2001, and seeing the Mariners in first place and be like, "Good, this is how things should be." Little did I know that.
Oh God, no!
The next 21 years, it would not be how things would be.
I have a ironically very similar story. Like growing up, like I started being a Braves fan, going to Braves games right after their division streak, right? 91 to 05.
Oh God, yeah.
They have all these flags or pennants in the outfield at the time Turner Field. It's like, they surely won more than one World Series, right? Right? And then
Yeah, exactly.
06, they missed the playoffs. 7 missed the playoffs. 8 missed the playoffs. 9 missed the playoffs. 10 make the playoffs, lose unceremoniously to the Giants. It's like, okay, well, maybe the Braves aren't that good. I don't know.
It's like,
I picked the perfect avenue to get into being a Braves fan.
Well,
they were
it's like
not
I wonder about
great.
like today's generation of Yankee fans. I wonder what they think about their team. Like they didn't grow up with the same like dominant Yankee teams that we grew up with. You know,
Right.
They're still obviously they're freaking in the playoffs every single year, basically. But like they probably, at least this generation, hasn't seen them win a World Series. So I feel slightly, very slightly more sympathetic towards them compared to
You're
fans of all generations.
You've seen one World Series, and if you're younger than us, you've probably seen 0. Maybe we're just getting to baseball for the 09 season, but heck, they hadn't even been to the World Series other than last year. So.
Yeah, and the 09 team was just straight up dominant. I mean, that was the Yankees Phillies World Series that year was one where I was like, I hope both teams lose, but you know, I'll tolerate it. Most of my friends were Yankee fans, blah blah blah. But anyway, speaking of which, we did get through the wild card round this week. I went a staggering 0-for-4 in my picks.
The true kiss of death right there.
Yeah, and you two both went 1-for-4. So congrats, you batted 250.
Sounds great. We're batting just enough to not be under the Mendoza line.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this year it might be good enough to win American League MVP.
True.
Yeah.
And it will be good enough to win MVP.
I don't know about will be.
Will be.
But it's pretty strong.
That's a story for us in about 3 weeks.
My National League champion already got sent packing too, so I'm off to a great start. I had picked the Padres. Also, the Yankees made history. They were the first team to lose Game 1 of the Wild Card Series and still win the series.
Yeah.
Another thing I was wrong about. But anyway, we are at the Division Series. Obviously, we have Alex's Mariners facing off against the Tigers. The Blue Jays host the Yankees, teams that tied for the division lead in the AL East, but Toronto got the title on the tiebreaker. And in the NL, division rivals Cubs and Brewers on one end, and then the Dodgers, who trounced the Reds, facing off against the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park beginning later today. Let's start in the American League. All right, we're gonna do some predictions here. We'll start with Alex's series. Mariners hosting the Tigers. This is a 2-6 matchup here. Let's start with Alex then. Talking about the series.
Really? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, let's go. I'm going straight to the Mariners fan.
Minutes here, just me rambling on this forever.
Yes, and I know you're going to the stadium today, and I kind of wish I was there.
Yeah, oh my god. Okay. Where do I begin? Legitimately, like, this is such an interesting series, right? Looking at it on paper, especially considering the fact that I don't think in the playoffs you ever really think of. I'm gonna start with kind of an odd place here. I don't think in the playoffs you ever expect trap games. Here, like, yeah, you have the seedings and all this here, but I think that the game 1 here is a trap for Seattle, because the Tigers are playing on, as I heard it put on a Twitter reel I saw earlier, they're playing on house money right now. They are playing this game here with a bullpen day here, and they're playing away. It sounds like they're almost expecting to lose, which means that if you win that game, then things get a lot harder for Seattle. Here, with Skubal going in game 2, they probably feel pretty good. The Tigers probably feel pretty good about their chances, although the last time that Skubal was in Seattle, he didn't make it to the 5th inning. So there's that. I'm so nervous for this because on paper, just looking on paper right now, Seattle is very much favored. And I can see why. Seattle is one of the most complete teams right now in baseball. And I love being able to actually say that. But I don't know. Something about this, I can't get it out of my heart that something feels wrong. And I'm hoping that that's something that feels wrong is just that I'm not used to playoff baseball. And that something is wrong is, wait a minute, I have to care in October again? So I'm hoping that's what this is here. But here's the thing as well. When it comes to Seattle's pitching, their starting pitching is looking very, very good. Although they did just get a major blow here, as it was officially announced this morning that Brian Wu would not be on the ALDS roster. Here, he's been dealing with pec inflammation since his start in Houston, where he got pulled early. Here, so since then he's not pitched. Here, he has thrown off of mound a couple of times here, and they basically outright said, okay, well, is he going to be ready? And he was like, I'm probably going to need another week or so. So, unfortunately, you're not going to have your ace on the mound. But if we remember back to the beginning of the year with the oops, all aces jokes, Seattle definitely still has strong starting pitching. They're throwing George Kirby out in game 1, who, for those of you that remember back to 2022, he threw an amazing outing against the Astros, holding them scoreless here, and now has a chance to do something similar here against Detroit. Game 2, you have Luis Castillo, which a lot of people were like, not Gilbert, not Walter. And I understand it, though. You want to have the veteran at home who's pitched very well at home, and Gilbert's splits have looked really good on the road as well. So I understand it. So, okay. Then you have Gilbert game 3, and game 4, I'm nervous with Miller on the mound here because he's been up and down this year. Hopefully, it'll be great. And then game 5, you get a choice of either Kirby or Castillo. And I think it's going to fully be based on who does better between these first 2 games here. You can either have Kirby with 6 days rest, or you can have Castillo with 5. And at that point, I feel like you would put Kirby in the bullpen for that here, and we may be able to see closeout Kirby again, which would be funny. But no, Detroit, I think, is a very interesting team. They have had probably one of the most interesting last 80 days in baseball that we have seen here, going back again to mid-August. They had a 15.5 game lead in the division. We all know this. They then lost that lead here to Cleveland here. And then what happens when they face each other in Cleveland? Well, they win the series again in what is probably the most anticlimactic way for a story to end.
I think that's fair to say. Yes.
Yeah, here's the thing. No disrespect to either team on this, but the story was Cleveland here. But that's not a knock on Detroit, though, either. Here, Detroit is a team right now that at the middle point of the year did not have anything to prove. They said, all right, we are good. We are going to win this thing here. And now they got the chip on the shoulder. They have this need to prove again that stretch of 80 was nothing. They now need to prove that this playoff series, that these playoffs themselves are theirs for the taking. And it really does come down to one name, and that name is Skubal. Skubal is one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. I mean, there's a very good argument for him to be the best in baseball. I personally think Skeens is a little bit better, but that's honestly, it's what would you rather have, 10 million coins or 10 million coins, right? So I think what's going to come down to is that Seattle needs to win game 1. If Seattle does not win game 1, they are in major trouble. I know that they've done well against Skubal here in the past. That does not mean that they are going to do it again here. So with that being said, though, I'll make my prediction. Seattle wins this as a clean sweep. I know that sounds ridiculous. I agree. It sounds ridiculous. But I'm looking at this logically here. I'm looking at this from the idea that game 1, you need to win game 1 to get a good starting on this, especially against a bullpen day. Seattle, in the last time they faced Skubal in Seattle, did extremely well against him. And then now you just need one more game, and then you're having what a lot of people consider to be your ace on the mound for game 3. So I don't think it's impossible. I think it's probably more likely that you're going to see game 4, but I also don't think that Seattle's going to have the edge in game 4 either.
Yeah, so my thought process here is that Detroit was in a great position in that Cleveland series because they had Tarek Skubal in a 3-game series. That's the thing. You only need to win one more after that. This is a whole different situation. They're doing a bullpen game in game 1. Casey Mize is probably going to pitch game 3. He's been kind of shaky in the second half. And then Jack Flaherty, who didn't have a great season, although he looked solid against Cleveland. Really, like you were saying, it comes down to, can you win game 1? Can you take advantage of the bullpen game? Kirby has been great at home this year. And like you said, his one postseason start was great against a much better Astros team than these current Tigers are. And the Tigers have really just been up and down for the better part of the last 2.5 months. So really, and I think Seattle's offense, I think, is better, even if they might not have Naylor tonight in game 1. He and his wife are expecting a baby today. So that's why if you saw
that makes sense now. Yeah.
If you saw Eugenio Suarez taking grounders at first base, or if you saw Ben Williamson on the roster, that's why. But hopefully that's just
Okay, sorry, can I stop you for just 1 sec?
Yes.
If we see Ben Williamson at third base, I am going to lose my mind. That would be incredible.
I think it could be one of those things where you have. I feel like as the opposition, you always have to be aware of like the late, either the in-game replacement or the late addition to the roster, because they always tend to do something.
One of the last games before Ben Williamson got sent back down was his game where he won it with defense.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the most incredible defensive performances I've ever seen from a third baseman.
Top to bottom, though, I think Seattle's roster is just better put together. I think that the one edge I'd maybe give to Detroit, other than Skubal, is their bullpen. Although they don't have a set closer necessarily, and obviously Munoz had a great season for Seattle. So I give this series to the Mariners. I think it's going to go 4. I think Detroit takes the Skubal game, and that's about it. Really, that's the thing. You can't pitch Tarek Skubal every game, and I think also that off day is going to really help Seattle in between games. If say you need to go to Munoz for 6 outs, he should probably still be ready for game 2. So I like this series for the Mariners. They take it in 4.
Yeah, this is a great spot for Seattle. This is why you go out and you get the bye. You don't have to worry about it. You can have I don't want to say an easy game 1, but your game 1 is against a bullpen game, right? And that's like the old adage with the bullpen game is all it takes is one guy in the bullpen to not have his stuff, and you're screwed, right? When you have a regular starter, if the starter doesn't have it, okay, fine, whatever. But the bullpen game, you're just spinning that roulette wheel of your bullpen 4, 5, 6, 7 times potentially, and that can screw up game 2. And then in game 1, you're showing the Mariners, all right, this is reliever A, reliever B, reliever C. So in game 3, when you have to face reliever B and reliever C, the Mariners can say, oh, I saw this guy 3 days ago. He throws an 87-mile-per-hour curveball, whatever it may be. So you know what to look for. You have that exposure, if you will. I think the only thing the Tigers have going for them is AJ Hinch, and the Tigers were in this situation last year, and Skubal, of course. And as much as we've all applauded the Mariners rotation, the best pitcher in the series is Tarek Skubal, the best pitcher in the American League, with all due respect to Garrett Crochet, who did, in fact, shove
he
the Red Sox.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. Yeah.
So did Fried, and so did Cam Schlittler. I don't want to get demonetized here. Cam. Oh man, he pitched, and Max pitched spectacularly as well. But that's the what Detroit has going for them. They've been here before. They were here last year. They lost a heartbreaking game 5. You have the best pitcher in the series, who in the event that it goes 5, can go twice, and you have a World Series winning manager, much to Alex's chagrin. That's what you have. The Mariners have the better lineup, more rotational depth. They are rested. They did not just spend all their bullpen arms getting here. They have the superior number 1 closing option. We can quibble with, who you'd rather have. Would you rather have Vest or Canely? Canely and all his changeups. Would you rather have that over the Mariners group? Maybe. I don't know. That's what we'll figure out in these coming days. But I think the Mariners, they're favored for a reason. I also have them in 4 games here. That's plus 360 on FanDuel. Maybe we should track those and see who makes the most money throughout the playoffs. I don't know.
Maybe like every bet's like a $5 bet or something like that.
Yeah, or just a unit.
Yeah.
So I do have Seattle winning in 4. I think Detroit can take the Skubal start, or I think Detroit can take game 3 if they were to lose game 2. I don't think they get swept, but I do think Seattle closes it out in Detroit game 4.
I will say about from Seattle's perspective, facing a bullpen game, it can also be tough facing 6 or 7 guys in the same game. They all have different ways of pitching, but at the same time, like you were saying, Splash, you're kind of showing all your weapons in game 1. And the other thing I'll say is that, say this goes to 5, last year Skubal started that game 5 against Cleveland, and Lane Thomas took him for a grand slam, and he wasn't as sharp in game 5. That's the other thing, is that you do get to face the guy twice in that case, and maybe by then you've seen it, you know what to expect a little more. So
sure,
I think
case, both would be in Seattle game 2 and game 5, so it's not like Seattle's a pitcher's park, but it's not like you're facing him in Detroit, and like that would be electric.
If you had to face Skubal in Detroit, it'd be
like, you can look at
I'm not sure how you'd win that, but
like the Cam start the other day. Does he do that at Fenway? I don't know. Right?
I know he is from Walpole. Remember, he's a Boston area guy. He lives in Southie.
He did pitch in those like February games that the Red Sox play. He did pitch
Northeastern when he was at Northeastern.
When he was at Northeastern. So maybe he goes out and shoves, but I do think those aces get like a boost, if you will, a boost to their stats when they're at home in those big games. So the Mariners can take game 1 off the backs of that, and they'll have a decent enough shot, I think, in game 2 to beat Skubal. I'd be interested in the odds versus or for the Tigers winning game 2 versus winning game 3 if it does come to pass that they win the series in 4 games. So,
I think this is going to be it's going to be an interesting series. I think all the games, it's not going to be a blowout or anything. I think they're going to be mostly close games. You're going to see a lot of bullpen arms, but I think really Seattle does have to get out ahead and try to win this first game with or without Josh Naylor. And I know it's unfortunate they don't have Brian Wu this series, but they have enough depth in the rotation where you shouldn't need Brian Wu to win this series.
Yeah, no, this is one of those, like, if you're gonna be out Wu, this is the series you want him to be out for. Like, because afterwards, now you're facing either, Toronto or New York, and then in the World Series, if you make it that far again, just saying here, hypothetically, you're now going to be facing some very dangerous lineups here that you need your main guys here for. I'm not going to say this is the warm-up. This is the test here. This is the test that if you fail, you weren't going to do anything anyway. If you put up here, though, and you make it work, you've got the chance.
Yeah, and also they made it sound like if they make the ALCS, Wu should be back by then. It's a matter of his arm strength isn't quite there yet to be a starter right now. So I think it was the wise decision to
I agree, 100%.
keep him off the roster here. But anyways, let's move over to the other AL series. We got a pair of division rivals squaring off, the Yankees and the Blue Jays, starting in the 6th this afternoon, I guess, at 4 p.m. Eastern. Splash, I'll go to you first here. Yankees, Blue Jays, these teams finished with the exact same record. Jays won the season series. Who do you got here?
Shout out to the Blue Jays. You get the number 1 seed, and what do you get? You get to face a team with the exact same record. While the Mariners get the 2 seed, and they get to face a 6 seed that backed their way into the playoffs. So shout out to the playoff format, I guess. The Braves have been here before, by the way. The Phillies debacle in 23 after winning 104 games. So there. I think it sets up for the Yankees to have the better chance in the series. I know they just played, but you get out the postseason jitters, I guess, and you have, I think, in many ways, the superior team. I know the Blue Jays won the division, and technically the 1 seed. Technically, they're the AL East champions. I do think top to bottom, the Yankees have the better lineup, and their top arms. I will be honest. I've seen Max Fried pitch for my favorite team in the postseason. He has had some good starts. He had a great start in the wild card series in 2020 against the Reds. He had a great start at Dodger Stadium. Had one great start at Dodger Stadium at some point, and had a great start in Game 6 of the World Series. He was also very spotty. So I don't know if the Yankees wasted the one good Max Fried start you're going to get, or if he's a new man now that he's in pinstripes. I don't know. Just warning Yankee fans out there that it's not always sunshine and roses for Fried in the playoffs. But I think Rodon has electric enough stuff that he can, burn through a lineup. I got Cam. I'm not going to try the last name again. Don't want to get demonetized, but that man, if he pitches like that again, and we have a Michael Wacha in 2013 situation, okay, we got some. We're cooking here. But I don't want to sell Toronto short. They had a great season, and I think they have a realistic shot of winning this series. But I do think the Yankees are the more talented team. You have, Giancarlo Stanton is one of the best player performers of this generation. Jazz Chisholm adds something every time. And you have the will he, won't he of Aaron Judge that, yes, the playoff resume to this point is like a 780 OPS for his career. He didn't have an extra base hit against Boston. He did have 4 hits in the series, to be clear, and he had a key RBI in Game 2. But, yeah, he's still 99 for the Yankees. He's still 6'7". He's still a 2-time MVP, potentially a 3-time MVP by the end of the season. I don't think the Blue Jays look at that and say, oh, he's an average guy in the playoffs. Oh, he's a 780 OPS guy. No, they know he's Aaron Judge. They know he's one of the best hitters to ever play Major League Baseball. And that has its own fear factor. So maybe Judge gets going here. Maybe this is his, 2002 Bonds run. I don't know. You also have, Paul Goldschmidt. He's been there, done that before. He's, he's a veteran. Ryan McMahon had a play better than Derek Jeter's play against Boston. That was insane.
Easily. Yeah.
That was, jeez. I saw that and I just went, what did I just see?
Right, exactly. And Ben Rice just rakes. Austin Wells is a solid enough catcher. Cody Bellinger has won a World Series before. So there's some options there that they steal some bases. You have the Caballeros of the world. Volpe can steal a base. Chisholm can steal a base. So they can throw some things at you. So I'm excited to watch this series. This is probably the series I'm most excited for. Either that or Philly, LA. But I do have the Yankees. I have the Yankees in 4 games here. And if you're so inclined, you can get that on FanDuel. Yankees win in 4 at plus 290.
Okay, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here. Cam Schlittler's start was very good. It was very good. I think it's being blown a little bit out of proportion. Because here, I'm going to say one thing here. One of the things I was noticing while I was watching the game is that the Red Sox had no plate discipline whatsoever in that game. Here, they were swinging first pitch every time, it felt like. And honestly, that's more of a credit for Cam. Here, he has great swing and miss stuff. One of the other things I noticed, though, he had 12 strikeouts in the game. Extremely impressive. Over half of those strikeouts were on pitches way out of the zone. 7 of them, to be exact, here, including 3 of them being way above the zone here, which, honestly, for the Red Sox here, I can understand. Playing in a smaller stadium, you want to hit the high ball because you have a better chance of getting it out. But I'm not going to say he had a bad start. I'm not saying that he's a fraud either. I think watching the stuff he had was incredible. Like, the movement that he had on those pitches, being able to reach down and hit 100 here on that fastball was nasty. Also, a really good slider, too. Just want to point that out here. That slider had some serious movement with also having good speed to it. In my heart of hearts, I want Toronto to win because I just want to see a Toronto-Seattle ALCS, which will be dubbed the Cal Raleigh versus John Schneider playoff race. But there are very few teams out there that I fear. The Yankees are one of those teams. The Yankees are a team that when they are on, they are nigh unstoppable. When Aaron Judge is on, every time, we've talked about this before during like our video game drafts and all this here, right? That there are only a few players here that like there's a fear factor to them here. There is one where when you see them step in the box, as the kids say, just him stepping in the box is aura farming. Like he has that aura here that as soon as Judge steps into the box, everyone's attention goes way up. Everyone has to be on high alert. Here, nice card, by the way. I actually appreciate the ring up on. That's awesome. It's something that's always gonna be worried about. And again, like you said, Giancarlo Stanton also amazing in the playoffs, although almost had a major mess up in the last game. He thought he had a no doubter, it didn't even make it out here, and he almost got thrown out of second. And to be fair,
I was gonna say,
the only reason why he did get thrown out of second is that Duran wanted to just take a little jog out to the baseball because he thought it was gone too. So, it'd be like that though. So, yeah, I think overall here the Yankees are the better team. I think that Toronto's definitely the biggest thing that they have going for them is the rest period and the fact that the Yankees went to game 3 here. I am always going to be wary of teams that play 3 games, have 1 day off, and then go to face off against a team that's well rested here. But there's also, it's a double-edged sword because we've talked about how important momentum is especially in the playoffs. Here. And right now, the momentum is with the Yankees. Here, they're the team that was surging near the end, whereas the Blue Jays are starting to falter a bit. Here, I don't ever want to like bet against the Yankees. This is going to go to game 5. I think though that New York wins it. Here, they're going to win it in Canada. Here, but at the same time, like here, I'm gonna make a really bold play here. Yankees either win it in 4 or 5, or Blue Jays win it in 3. Because what I think happens at that point is again, you're battling the rest. You're battling the time here that the Yankees have had to spend here getting to and from places. So,
interesting.
Sense, yeah, it feels weird trying to make that kind of bet because again, all of the indicators like that you look into, all the boxes that you check going into a series favor Toronto. But the Yankees are the Yankees. The Yankees have one of the most dangerous lineups here, and I have a really hard time betting against them.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing here is also like on paper. I mean, the Yankees are a juggernaut. I mean, straight up, their starting rotation, especially after the outing that Cam gave them, I think he's proven he can be a strong big league starter. Max Fried was great in game 1 against the Red Sox. They're going Luis Gil in game 1, who has command issues from time to time, but he's still got pretty good stuff. He is the former Rookie of the Year winner. It's a solid front 3. And Rodon, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Carlos Rodon, who had a strong year, his best year as a Yankee. I think it's going to come down to who does what in the on the road. To be honest, I know this is kind of pointing out the obvious here, but Toronto won 6 of the 7 games at the Rogers Center this year in the against the Yankees, including a 4-game sweep. And overall, the series was 8-5. So the Yankees took the Yankees won 4 of the 6 matchups in the Bronx. I think if it goes to 5, honestly, I'm leaning Toronto. I think Toronto was 54-27 at home. You got guys. I mean, this lineup also. While I think what Schlittler did was impressive, that was a Red Sox lineup that was missing their best player in Roman Anthony. And without Roman Anthony, if I'm being honest, that Red Sox lineup really lacked punch. I think Toronto with George Springer's having a resurgence. He's been here so many times before. I'm actually a big fan of Addison Barger as the batting cleanup. He hits the ball super hard. He can hit home runs, and whenever it feels like he comes up with so many clutch hits. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's been here before too. Alejandro Kirk, he had a solid year. Like this is a strong lineup from top to bottom. I think that they don't get enough credit. Their bullpen worries me, to be straight up. Jeff Hoffman, not a great year. Brendan Little was great though. Braden Fisher was also really good. Yariel Rodriguez had a nice year. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they manage the bullpen, especially because after Kevin Gausman in Game 1, they're going Trey Savage in Game 2, followed by Shane Bieber. And you Savage and Bieber, I don't know how much length they can give you. Bieber's coming off Tommy John surgery. You Savage has barely pitched in the majors. But I think if this goes to 5, I'm leaning Toronto. If the Yankees can even take one game in that first set of 2, they're set up pretty well.
I agree.
Ultimately, I think this goes 5. I've got the Jays winning in 5, just barely. It's going to come down to some close plays at the end of Game 5, I think. I think the Yankees could easily win the series too, but I'm going to give the Jays the slight edge.
Can I actually amend my prediction here? Because I realized more as I was thinking about it afterwards that what I said made no sense here. So because of the rest period, I think what's either going to happen is a New York sweep or maybe 3-1 here, or Toronto will win it in 5. Just being able to outgas.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Do you have a final selection, Alex?
I'm giving both of those, but I think for my final selection for the betting purposes will be for the fake betting purposes, I should say, to be very clear, we're not actually betting on this.
Well, I have $1 on a certain team to win.
$1, a singular dollar.
Actually, I think $1.37 from what I won in the first round.
Nice. I think for my official, I'm gonna go with Yankees in 4.
Yankees in 4? Okay, wonderful.
I mean, look, the Yankees. That lineup, especially if they're all, that's the thing is, it feels like it's either like they're all clicking or they're all not. It's crazy because you have this hard hitting Yankees lineup, but the way they won Game 3 against Connolly early wasn't really like they were tearing the cover off the ball. It was a lot of well placed hits. Mm-hmm. I know that they all complained about facing the Guardians twice in the last 3 years. Well, they kind of played the way the Guardians did. And they've been playing the platoons. They've had Ahmed Rosario against lefties and Paul Goldschmidt against lefties. Then against righties, they'll go Ryan McMahon, Jazz Chisholm, Ben Rice. It's been interesting. I think Aaron Boone's actually, everyone likes to take shots at Aaron Boone for some reason. I know he's not a perfect manager, but I actually think he's done a good job this postseason so far. And their bullpen, I know, has been suspect at times, but I think their bullpen is extremely talented. I think they've been a lot better ever since David Bednar became the closer.
I will hold off on my opinions with one Mr. Aaron.
Okay, great. Let's move over to the National League. So we all have Seattle, and 2 of us have the Yanks, and I have Toronto in the AL. Let's go National League. We're going to start Cubs Brewers. This is I guess it'd be the 4-1 matchup. Division rivals here. Cubs won the season series. Brewers won the division handily. I'm going to start here. Let me straight up. I've said this a lot. The Brewers, I think, had a great season. They're a strong team. They're sort of like the Blue Jays, I feel like, where they had about a 99th percentile outcome in the regular season. I just look at these 2 teams side by side, though, and how things played out in the regular season. I'm leaning the Cubs here. I think really, first of all, this home field advantage is hilarious because I swear I know more Cubs fans in Wisconsin. I don't really know any Brewers fans in real life. Sorry, guys. I I know the old owner of our old site was a Brewers fan, but like I think he's not the only one I've ever interacted with.
I know a couple Brewers fans, yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I it's crazy because in the NFL, I know so many Packers fans from all over the country. I don't know any Brewers fans. Anyways, I look top to bottom though. I think the Cubs are the superior roster. I really like the way their bullpen has been lately with Brad Keller at the end of games. In addition to getting Daniel Palencia back, they have a couple great lefties in Caleb Thielbar and Drew Pomeranz. They're going to have Boyd starting game one. I know it would have been great to have Cade Horton here, but side by side, I think the Brewers have the advantage in game one with Freddie Peralta, but it's going to be heavy on the bullpen. The bullpen was great for most of the season. They have Trevor McGill back. It's going to be can their arms stay ready to go throughout the series. And their offense did have a bit of resurgence from Christian Yelich. Bryce Terang had a great last couple months of the season. William Contreras started to hit well again at the end of the year. The Cubs offense looked like they were heating up during that wild card series and during the last week of the season. But I'm going with the Cubs here. I think the Cubs take it in 4. Really, I think if they win one game at American Family Field, probably game 2. I don't know if they can beat Freddie Peralta in game 1. I think they're set up well back in Wrigley. So give me the Cubs in 4.
One thing I do want to quickly bring up here, I don't know how true this is. Please fact check me if I'm wrong here. I saw a post that Freddie Peralta's never won a playoff game.
It's true. Yep. They've lost every single game he's pitched in the playoffs,
cool.
Including both last year.
Cool. So it's like so good to know that the Cubs are winning game 1. But I mean, here's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think that the Cubs are the better team. I do. I also find it extremely funny that the Brewers are doing better without guys like Josh Hader and Devin Williams. How is this possible? I'm not quite sure.
They always do this, it feels like. I know,
it does, right? Honestly, credit to the scouting department, I guess. But at the same time here, I can't root against the Brewers here. They have defied my odds all year and for multiple years. The Brewers are winning this one 3-1. Here, they're going to win this in Chicago. Here. And it is going to be very, very weird. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have no logical reasoning for this one. I don't. I can't find any logical reasoning for why this is. My only reasoning is that they've won a lot and they have the power of friendship and happiness and pancakes on their side. So I feel like those are very nice things to have here. Plus, I am also very much a sucker that I very much want the Bud Selig World Series here of Mariners v. Brewers.
Fair points. So I have a question.
I may have an answer
necessarily, but I'm asking the world: is this what you paid Craig Counsell for? Because if that's what you did, now is the time, buddy. Now is the time for you to show your managerial prowess. Right now is your chance. The Brewers shtick is too harsh a word, but what the Brewers do well, they clean up in the margins. They run the bases really well. They're great defensively. Turang, Contreras has been better with the Brewers than he was with the Braves. In theory, Joey Ortiz is a good defensive shortstop, right? Churio is super athletic. The rest of the outfield super athletic besides Yelich.
Yelich just lost a step or two.
Yeah. So they do that shtick, right? They're really good at that. In a lot of ways, the Cubs are like a supercharged version of that. You have an incredible defensive duo up the middle with Swanson and Nico Horner. And then PCA is arguably the best defensive player in the world, right? And I think the Cubs...
Ian Happ was a 3-time Gold Glover and left also.
Of course.
and Matt Shaw at third base, he's pretty good too.
Yeah, he's been picking it. I think the Cubs are like a sort of a supercharged version of the Brewers in that they are also good in the margins, but you have more star power. You have, in theory, PCA. I know he went ice cold for half of a season, but in theory, PCA is a star. Kyle Tucker, he's a star. He is done the thing before. Dansby Swanson, he is a like borderline star, probably more famous, given that he's married to a
Soccer star?
Yeah, U.S. women's national team star too. But he's been there. He's done that before. Justin Turner, can he like conjure up something? Because Lord knows he's had his fair share of playoff moments. So I am taking the Cubs, and I am taking the Cubs in a sweep. I think they win game one, win game two, and close it out in Wrigley.
That's
bold.
I think they're just they do the things the Brewers do well, and they do them a smidge better in a lot of ways. I know the Brewers ended up with the better record throughout a 162 game season. I'm asking the Cubs to be better for 3 days. I think they will be.
And I mean, really, I think the Cubs, that's the thing, is that on paper, the Cubs are clearly the more talented roster. And, Seiya Suzuki went into like a crazy 6-week slump where he didn't hit any homers. But that last week of the season, you started seeing the old version of Seiya. And he looked strong again against the Padres. So, I mean, really, the Brewers did a lot of the little things better in the regular season. Mostly, the pitching staff was clearly better. But the Cubs, like, they actually are more similar than you think. But yeah, the Cubs, I think, have more star power. And I think as great as I know, and you can say this is sort of similar to the Yankees Blue Jays series, but I think the Blue Jays have more star power than the Brewers do. The Brewers, as great as they've been, they don't look like a team that's built for like a super extended run in the playoffs. So anyways, let's slide over to our last series, the Phillies and the Dodgers. This, I think, has more star power than any other series we have going on right now. Both teams immensely talented. Dodgers with arguably the best lineup in baseball. Phillies with a loaded pitching staff, even without Zach Wheeler. I'll go to Alex here first. Dodgers, Phillies, what do you got?
This feels like the Yankees Red Sox wild card, just kind of amped up a little bit more because it's actually in the NLDS. Man, the best part about this series here, the absolute best part, is that it's now guaranteed that only one of them will be going to the NLCS. Here,
that's
one
the
of them
crazy
will
part.
Did both of you guys see the meme that it was the one of these teams will make the NLCS guaranteed, but one of these teams will not make the NLCS guaranteed? And it was like the Alonzo Mourning gif.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, is that something like us Braves fans and Mets fans would sign up for? I don't know. Heading into the season, we'd obviously rather our teams be there. I don't know. I guess it'd be like the Chiefs and Bills playing each other before the AFC title game. I don't know.
So for me on this one here, this really is a battle of two juggernauts here. And I'm very glad that this is a 5-game series as opposed to a 7-game series, because I think more wacky stuff can happen in a 5-game series. With that being said, I'm going to take the Dodgers in this. I think that there are very few teams that I fear like the Phillies. I think the Phillies are a team that, just like Seattle, are an embodiment of chaos, that you can never really understand what's going to happen. But I think the Dodgers are just really well built, but this is going to go to 5. This will go to 5. Dodgers win it in 5. But I am expecting Harper to hit multiple home runs. I am expecting Shohei Ohtani to hit at least 1 home run. And I will also say on this that Blake Snell pitches into the 7th inning one time.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say, which is that the Dodgers, I think, have an elite 1 to 9 in their lineup.
Absolutely.
There are basically no breaks in the Dodgers lineup. The Phillies, they have Kyle Schwarber, they have Bryce Harper. Assuming Trey Turner is healthy, they have Trey Turner. After that lineup does not move me. Going to be straight up. I think they actually have a better bullpen than people think. Getting Yohan Duran was huge. Orion Kerkering is pretty nice. Matt Strahm is a great left-handed reliever. I think it's not as loaded as it was going into last year's postseason. That, granted, their bullpen melted down in the postseason. But it's still a good enough bullpen, and it's a pretty strong rotation. I mean, you're going Christopher Sanchez game 1. You have Ranger Suarez. I know Aaron Nola's been shaky, but Aaron Nola's pretty good too. But the Dodgers, now that it seems like they've sort of started to figure out what to do with the bullpen by moving some of their starters to the bullpen. Roki Sasaki looked nasty against the Reds. Tyler Glasnow, if he's in the bullpen, Tyler Glasnow has great stuff. Clayton Kershaw all of a sudden is in the bullpen. And sort of the way the Nationals won in 2019. Remember, the Nationals had a really rough bullpen in 2019, but then they started putting Patrick Corbin in the bullpen. Or heck, the Astros in 2017 when they put Lance McCullers and Brad Peacock in the bullpen. This is a team that they have a complete lineup. They have a very strong rotation, and at this point, their bullpen, now that they've moved those guys to the bullpen, I have a hard time finding a team that can beat them. So I think the Dodgers win this in 4, and I mean, I think this is going to be about as dominant as they were against Cincinnati. So I think this series is not going to be as close as people think.
Folks, the Dodgers and Phillies have not played in the playoffs in this iteration with Bryce Harper. And going into the bank, I will say, is a little difficult. It's tough, other than the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks squashed that.
Yeah.
I think the Phillies take game 1 and game 2. I think the Dodgers roar back. They win game 3 and game 4. And then game 5, you are asking the Dodgers to go back across the country and get 27 outs against the Philadelphia Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. I don't think they do that. I'm taking the Phillies to win in 5, unfortunately. I'm rooting for the Dodgers in this series, which pains me to say. The Phillies are like the one team.
I know.
Phillies and the Mets
like...
are like the 2 teams for the Dodgers in. So congratulations. The kiss of death is bestowed upon you, Philadelphia. The lineup, yes, you have the stars, you have the Harpers, the Schwarbers. Maybe Nick Castellanos makes an appearance. He's had playoff moments. Maybe Alec Boehm has a playoff appearance. Maybe Bryson Stott is the does he still have the AOK song?
Of course he does.
Okay.
Why would he change that?
Yeah. If I have to hear that one more time, I'm just going to mute the TV.
Yeah.
That just gives me PTSD. But like both of these teams are full of players who have been there and done that in the postseason. The Phillies went to a World Series a couple years ago. They have plenty of, high-level postseason performers, particularly Schwarber and Harper on their team. The Dodgers, of course, are the reigning World Series champions. You have a multi-time World Series winner in Betts. He's won 3 of them, actually. Freeman's won multiple. Ohtani is pitching in game 1. That's exciting. Ohtani in the playoffs.
First
as
playoff
a pitcher,
start.
That's electric. His first playoff innings.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome to see. But I think this is going to be just a absolute slugfest and just haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. And I Austin Hayesmaker, he was on the team last year at least. I'm excited. I think we're going to see some crazy games, some back and forth, some maybe it's 5-1, and then all of a sudden, roaring back, it's 5-5, walk-off homer, some high-scoring games, some low-scoring games, some pitching duels. Christopher Sanchez had an excellent season. He'll finish probably second in Cy Young behind Skeens.
He's going to be a finalist.
Yeah,
I'll say that much.
He's excellent. No Wheeler, but Aaron Nola has made important starts for the Phillies before. Ranger Suarez is a dog in the playoffs for some inexplicable reason, but will be curious to watch. Christopher Sanchez has the ground ball shtick, right? The bowling ball sinker. Shohei Ohtani, first batter of the game. Well, just watch out. That could swing the entire series.
First pitch. I'll tell you that.
First pitch of the series. Ohtani's pitching in the game too. First pitch in the series. Watch out for Ohtani to go 500 feet to center field. If he does that, I'll swap my pick to the Dodgers immediately. But
that's the thing. I'm expecting some first inning runs tonight. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Like Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, like that's just a brutal.
It feels like a Tyson v. Ali style slugfest here. These two are going to kill each other.
I know Betts didn't have like a Mookie Betts type season. He was more average than awesome. but he's still Mookie Betts. He's
He
still a guy.
also was surging at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
He's
he
a guy
looked like
who's
he
been
finally
there and
figured
done
it
that.
out.
He had a very productive series against the Reds, so I'm excited to. Andy Pajes, Teoscar Hernandez, Tommy Edman has been a playoff hero previously. Will Smith set an excellent season, so I'm excited. Does Kike Hernandez have another playoff moment in him?
Oh yeah.
Which random Dodgers 13th guy in the
Max Muncy,
third guy
can't
off the
forget
bench
him.
is going to have
Yeah,
3
Muncy.
home runs in the series?
Miguel Vargas is gonna be that guy, by the way.
Isn't he a White Sox?
Do you mean Miguel Rojas?
Miguel Rojas, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Josh
Sorry, not
Chisholm's
Miguel Vargas.
favorite player.
Yeah, Jazz Chisholm's favorite player.
Mac, was it you that said the all gas, no brakes? Here, said that line. Who said that line? Because someone said it.
Not
Here a
me.
little bit ago. I'm pretty sure it was
think you heard that in your head.
Okay, maybe
Is
not. Because I had a
Robert Saleh
joke. That
in
was,
your ear.
Yeah,
fair
Robert
enough.
Saleh. Yeah.
I had a joke I was going to go along with that I could use potentially for a new intro clip. But
Great.
I have the
Sure.
Phillies in 5, and that'll wrap us up. I'll show our predictions.
All right. Well, let us know what you think at LAR_baseball. Maybe you disagree with us for some reason or another. But anyways, it's time for Trivia Splash. You got that today, so take it away.
Hello, folks. Jim Nance, Phil Sims. You got it. You got it. Okay. We have I'm trying something with the trivia today. I'm giving you the answers.
okay, so
I am straight up giving you the answers. Here are the answers. These are the answers. You can't get it wrong. You physically cannot get it wrong. Do either of you know what these 43 players have in common?
They all have a walk-off in the postseason.
More specific.
Walk-off game-winning hit. They have a game-winning hit in the postseason.
Well, yes. Specific round of the playoffs, perhaps.
NLDS, NLCS.
Just the league divisional series.
Okay, great.
So these are the 43 players who have a walk-off hit, a walk-off of any kind, in the LDS. So since 1995, 5-game series. Both of you will choose 10 players, and whoever has the highest cumulative win probability added from those 10 hits or 10 events wins.
I see what you're doing here.
I gave you the answers. You have to choose the 10 best answers.
Okay. All right.
All right.
How do we decide who goes first?
Mac, please choose a number between 1 and 60.
35.
Alex.
24.
The answer is 53.
Okay.
All right.
I wonder if you're ever going to catch on to my shtick. But Mac, you have the first choice.
All right. I'm gonna be the homer here and pick Benny Agbayani since I know it was late in the game. It was 13th inning.
Okay.
All right.
Alex.
You're not revealing them. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna also go with homer pick here. That was in the 11th inning, down by 1. Here, I'm gonna go with Edgar Martinez.
Oh my god!
All right.
I probably should have taken him. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Mac, back to you.
All right. I'm gonna go Niger Morgan.
All right, Niger Morgan.
I know that was a series clincher.
Alex. Oh, and to be clear, win probability added is just for individual game. Championship win probability added would be for a more like winning a series, right, or really increasing a team's championship win probability. So these are just an individual game, individual swing of the bat, if you will.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, then for mine, then I'm gonna go with 2004 David Ortiz.
David Ortiz, Big Papi.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mac, your third pick.
Oh man, I can't believe I left this one on the board. I'm going Manny Ramirez.
Yeah,
Manny
that was gonna be my
Ramirez.
next one. Yeah.
Off of K-Rod. That's an iconic photo.
Yes, it is.
Him standing at the plate.
Alex.
I'm trying to figure out because there's a few names obviously I really want to go to here, but I'm trying to figure out how much they actually worked with here. I'm gonna go with just because he has not been an answer for anything in a long time here. I'm gonna go with one Mr. Coco Crisp.
Wow, great name. Hall of Fame
Great,
on the name
yes.
scale. I will say it would be funny if I added in players that did not have hits and they would just give you a 0.
That would be really funny and very mean of you.
Yeah, I
Kinda cool.
agree.
Maybe that'll be the next episode.
No. Don't make me think.
All right.
All right.
Mac, your
I'm
fourth
gonna
player.
go with Raul Ibanez.
Dang it!
All
Took
right,
my next pick
Raul.
again.
Against the Orioles.
All right.
Dang it,
Alex.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with Mariners at this point. Yeah. Well, another Mariner. All right. I'm gonna go with a guy that I actually modeled my swing after here for a little bit, and Carlos Guillen.
Carlos Guillen. Okay. Tigers legend.
Yeah, sure. We'll go Tigers legend.
All right, Mac.
I'm gonna go with Chris Burke since that was an 18th inning thing.
Screw off. Alex.
All right. I'm surprised this guy fell here this far. I'm gonna take Hideki Matsui.
Ooh.
His playoff thing was incredible. in that
Godzilla.
one game.
Yes.
All right, Mac, your sixth selection.
My sixth selection, Todd Pratt.
Okay. Love it. Alex.
Okay. I'm just gonna go for it because I know that I hate saying his name here, but Yordan Alvarez.
Your
yeah,
ding dong
Took him.
is here.
Yeah.
All right, Mac.
Some
Some fun names left on the list.
Yeah, there are. Give me
There's a manager on this list.
give me SpongeBob though. Oscar
All right.
Gonzalez.
All right.
Fair enough,
Alex,
yeah.
your seventh pick.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go with Enrique Hernandez. He's had some
Enrique.
incredible moments.
All right.
Alrighty. I'll go with his teammate, who I believe walked off the day before him, Christian Vasquez.
All right. Twins legend.
Okay.
Astros legend. Astros World Series champion, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Alex?
All right.
I do need to fact check that.
Yeah. You know what? Just because his name on this, I go with Larry Chipper Jones.
The GOAT. All right. Also, shout out to Charlie Hayes. I have his son's jersey now.
Nice.
All right. Mac.
I know I'm going with another extra inning one then, Mark Teixeira.
Mark
Yeah.
Tech. Send a text message. That ball's gone. Alex, number 9.
I'm gonna go with the name that's just below his, and Mike Moustakas.
Moose. Some great nicknames on this list. If you want some more great nicknames, check out last week's episode. Alex had a great trivia segment.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right.
Thank you.
Mac.
All right, my last one. I know this was one when his team was trailing, so Pudge Rodriguez.
I don't think this is the most famous Pudge Rodriguez moment from that series, ironically enough.
Correct.
Alex.
All right, so I get the last pick here,
Last pick.
and you know what? I don't care at this point. I'm taking it here. Give me the manager of the Cleveland Guardians, Stephen Vogt.
Stephen Vogt. The vote is in. Both of you have made your 10 selections. Are you ready for the
Yes.
reveal?
Yeah, let's see it.
Yes.
I'm waiting to see me get lapped by Mac here, but
The only one I know off the dome, Jordan has the highest. So
That makes sense.
I'm curious if that was enough. So we'll reveal Mac's scores. You fill it in with the color. Whoa, that was not a good color to fill it in. My bad. All right. Mac, you had a cumulative 4.462.
Okay, I don't feel as good anymore.
that's impressive that you actually have that all mapped out here.
There's a couple nice ones. Oscar Gonzalez,
Oh,
0.73. Pudge Rodriguez, also 0.73. Your smallest one, Nigel Morgan, just a 0.31.
That's kind
And
of crazy.
Alex, here we go. Will it shoot me over?
Oh,
In a dominant
Wow.
fashion, Mac wins. Even though Alex did have the 0.91 from Jordan, he had a couple smaller ones, 0.61,
The vote one
0.16
was
from
horrid.
Matsui, 0.17 from Carlos Guillen,
How
0.15
did Matsui
from PK.
only have 0.163?
I'm trying to remember which game that was, the Matsui one.
I can look. I have it up on my.
Was that because if it's in the DS? Okay, so they were in the DS. It must have been against the Twins.
I also
history.
abhorrently disagree with the Edgar Martinez one. That is That's
All right, I do have the list. I can share that tab.
yeah.
Number
No,
one is Jordan. Number 2, Oscar Gonzalez. Number 3, Pudge. Number 4, Jose Lobaton.
wow.
Oh, often Koji. Yeah.
So sure, among players picked, David Ortiz, Chris Burke. They were both over 40% change. Todd Pratt over 40%. Benny Egbenyani 40%. Coco Crisp just under 40%.
Yeah,
The lowest on the list is Stephen Vogt with a walk-off single, bases loaded in a tie game. So yeah, that'll do it. Kike's was a sac fly in a tie game with 2 men on. So that'll do that.
Jeez,
Matsui
I had
was,
some of the worst picks.
yeah. Matsui was 4th on the list with sac fly off JC Romero.
Oh, okay.
Phillies
So it
legend.
was against the Twins. That makes sense.
Yes. The GOAT Charlie Hayes had a reach on error. Carlos Guillen had a walk-off
That was a bunt. Yes.
to score.
I remember
Is that
seeing
Ricky Henderson? I think that is Ricky
That
Henderson.
is Ricky Henderson. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, man. Some fun names here. Chipper Jones, his was against the Cubs. Nigel Morgan had his off J.J. Puitz. Edgar Martinez to win the series, his double. Keep in mind, there were no outs. You know, if there had been 2 outs, that'd be there.
Oh
no,
yeah, no outs. Yeah, no,
So that-
I retract that.
So like I said, the number 1 was Jordan. Score reversing down 2 is the only such home run in MLB history, in MLB playoff history. So like this is one of the highest WPA moments in the history of the playoffs. And you guys know how long we've been doing this whole baseball thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. There's 122 years of data because there's 121 years of data because nothing in 1904, nothing in 1994. And Jordan's swing is the highest win probability walk-off in the history of Major League Baseball.
What year was that, by the way? Just want to make sure.
The Jordan one?
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah, so I know exactly the homer that it was, and it makes me very sad.
Yeah. Here's the full list. This is any oops, here we go. Here's the full list. Any playoff moment. There's the highest non walk-off is Jack Clark's home run in the 1985 NLCS.
Oh, yeah, against Needham Fury,
Down 1, a 3-run homer to put the Cardinals up 2. There's some great moments here. The Freddie walk-off grand slam is number 9. Jimmy Rollins had a walk-off in the NLCS. That's number 3. Brett Phillips from the World Series. That's number 4. Francisco Cabrera to walk off the 91 or 92 NLCS. That's number 6. Oscar Gonzalez, number 7. SpongeBob. Albert Pujols, number 11. The ball still has not landed, by the way.
Nope.
And that wasn't even a walk-off. it was that crazy of a moment. So there's a list.
All right, that was fun. I had a feeling we were going to do something like that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. But anyways, it's time for the moment to ourselves. As we end every show, 60 seconds to talk about whatever the heck is on your mind. Doesn't even have to be baseball related. So, which one of anyone want to go first?
Sure.
All right, Splash. I'll count you down. Pull up the stopwatch. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this was going up after the Vanderbilt Alabama game, but if there's any man in college football that has a dog in him, it is Diego Pavia, with a shout out to Haynes King at Georgia Tech. Diego Pavia probably could cure cancer if he tried. He does go to Vanderbilt, so he's probably pretty smart. That he's a transfer. I don't know how that works. Although that would be an interesting one with how do like the academic schools get screwed over by the transfer portal? Do the academy schools get screwed over by the transfer portal because they have such different requirements? That wasn't what I was planning on talking about. I was just saying this might age like milk, but Diego Pavia is him. He would be my Heisman through 6 weeks. Sorry, Oregon quarterback Dante Moore. Sorry, Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Diego Pavia has the Commodores of Vanderbilt undefeated and number 16 in the polls heading into Tuscaloosa for college game day. Imagine if you told someone even last year that, hey, Vanderbilt is going to be college game day or involved in college game day. They're not hosting, it's in Tuscaloosa. But yeah, shout out to Diego Pavia. Shout out to New Mexico State where he transfer from. Shout out to his guy, Eli Stowers. They were in the same quarterback room at New Mexico State before Stowers moved to tight end, and they both transferred over to Vandy. So Usually I root for Alabama, like because I don't like Georgia and I don't like Auburn, and Alabama is the number 1 rival of Auburn and the number 2 rival. Actually, I don't know where they would be on Georgia's rivalry. Probably top 5, given that they won a national championship over them and have dominated them in recent years. But I digress. I generally root for Alabama because of those 2 things. But Vanderbilt, you have my full attention. Diego Pavia stands. Rejoice!
Yeah, I normally don't think of Vandy as a football school, but they did beat Bama last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're a great story this year, and yeah, Diego Pavia.
I got a trivia question for you. The last time that Vanderbilt beat Alabama, what was special about that game? Do you know?
Before last year.
Before last year.
Dude,
in football or baseball?
In football.
Football.
Oh. Oh, wait a sec. Wasn't that the memorial game for that kid who passed away?
Oh, no, that wasn't what I was going for. I was going to say they got outscored in that game. Alabama had to forfeit.
What?
Yeah. So the last time before 2024 that Vanderbilt beat Alabama was an Alabama forfeit. It was 1993. Alabama forfeited all of their wins besides their bowl win.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
now
so
I see
Vanderbilt
what you're saying.
had not outscored Alabama since the 80s, since 1984. Alabama had 2 wins that they gave away, vacated, and had a win that they forfeited. So the last 40 years of the scoreboard is 2 vacated wins, 1 forfeit win, and 1 real and legitimate Vanderbilt win. Now,
yeah,
granted,
I know that
they
carried the goalposts into the Tennessee River last year. So,
yeah. So,
all right, Alex, do you want to go next, or should I go next? Or...
Sure, I'll go.
All right, your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm going to hold this up to the camera here for those that are paying attention on YouTube here. I've got major goosebumps right now. My hair's staying up on end. I am so nervous right now for today. I've already talked about it a little bit during the podcast, but this is legitimately something I've been waiting my entire life for. And if they make it all the way to the World Series, which I hope in my heart of hearts that Seattle does, I don't know how I'm going to be able to contain myself. It's something that I have been, like I said, waiting for since I was a wee lad. Here, to give like a little bit of context and how much this meant to me even as a baby. Here, when I was younger, when I was a baby, I did not stop cry. I would cry a lot here. I would scream a lot here, and the only thing that would usually get me to calm down was wearing my Mariner uniform. And that's a true story here that I've now put out into the world here. But this is something that now, as I've grown up and been a sports fan here, been a Seattle Mariner fan here going forward, I can understand why as a kid that I had that now, and I can also definitely see that old habits die hard.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Mariners. I think are you can make a case they're the best story in baseball right now. And honestly, if you don't have a team to root for right now, I don't know how you don't pick the Mariners. If I'm being honest, unless you're like are
you throwing
West
shots
fan?
Across the bow here?
Yes,
I mean,
if he's not, I will.
That's the thing is that, like, I get it if you're like, I don't know, say I like in 2022, I felt like I was in the minority that, like, then if you're an NL East fan, you weren't rooting for the Phillies. But like right now, it's like if you're an AL West fan, you're probably not rooting for the Mariners. But outside of that, it's like it like obviously if you have family ties to a team, like perfectly fine. Like I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I have a hard time not, like most of my friends who are Mariners fan or who are Mets fans or their team has already been eliminated. They're rooting for the Mariners right now. But
the last team to not even be in a World Series.
Exactly.
I want that. That has been a monkey on our back, and it's not even a monkey anymore. That monkey has now grown into King Kong here on our backs. Here, I just want it off.
Yeah.
Like, just like it's not something that's endearing where it's like, oh yeah, we love them because they haven't done the thing. No, let us be part of the club, please.
Exactly.
Like heck,
Yeah, even the Rockies.
Even the Rockies have won a World Series.
That is not true. The Rockies did not. They've not won a World Series
game.
They
got swept.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They've won a pennant though. They have won a pennant.
They have won a pennant. Okay.
The Marlins have won 2 World Series. Brewers won an American League pennant.
The Brewers have an American League pennant. Correct. They've never made it as a National League team. Anyways, someone count me down.
All right, your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Yeah, so the Mets made a bunch of coaching changes yesterday, and I feel bad for Jeremy Hefner being caught in the crossfire. I'll say that much. I think, unfortunately, this was necessary. Nothing against these guys, but the Mets offense did not perform to standards, in my opinion. The pitching staff fell apart in the second half. So, unfortunately, I think it was the right move. I'm glad David Stearns took action here. And I think there's reason to believe that they are going to step up. And, I think David Stearns is the right guy in charge here. And he's going to make the right hires. But it's unfortunate that these guys had to lose their jobs. Unfortunately, when your team underperforms the way they did, this is what happens. I'm glad Antoine Richardson's sticking around because he's, he was great this year. The Mets were great at stealing bases this year. Juan Soto led the National League in steals. So this is it's going to be interesting. I wonder how this will be received in the clubhouse. But I'm curious to see where they go from here.
Imagine if you told someone before the season that Juan Soto would lead the National League in stolen bases.
Yeah, I'm confused by that too.
Imagine telling someone at the end of the year that Josh Naylor here would be in the American League stealing 30.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's having a 20-30 season.
Which is insane.
Considering that
it's about picking your spots,
Well, look, here's the thing. I've made this argument for a long time. Stealing bases is not about speed; it's about baseball IQ.
Yeah, look at Kyle Tucker's not necessarily a fast runner, but he steals bases.
I think legitimately by speed. I think I heard this yesterday here. Josh Naylor by speed is like the 6th slowest player, hitter in Major League Baseball right now. And yet he has 30 stolen bases.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you need any more proof than that.
All right, quick trivia before we wrap up. Jose Caballero has led the American League in stolen bases the last 2 years. Who was the last player to lead his league back-to-back seasons in steals?
Is it Whit Merrifield?
That is correct. Braves legend Whit Merrifield.
Yeah, I know that Merrifield led in hits and in steals a couple times.
The GOAT.
With the Royals.
Also,
I feel like an underappreciated player there.
Absolutely. I love Whit Merrifield.
Yeah, he was even solid with the Braves for a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
Does this WAR make him eligible for the Hall of Pretty Good?
Oh, yeah, 100% he's Hall of Pretty
17.9.
I think he's going to win. I mean, he's going to make it in.
I mean, he better. It's like he better at this point.
I
know they have a threshold where if you're over that,
it's the Baines meter. Yeah.
Yeah. So
some other guys the last 20 years. D. Strange Gordon. Back-to-back, 2 different teams.
Yes.
Let's go.
Altuve did it. Bourne did it 3 straight years, including
that makes sense.
A year that he split time. Ellsbury, not his near MVP season, but he had 2 years.
Reyes, I know, led once or twice.
3 years in a row for Reyes. Crawford did 2 years in a row. Well, had 4 out of 5 years. The GOAT, Juan Pierre, did it 2 out of 3 years. So fun names. Tony Womack did it with the Pirates, D-backs.
That's the thing is a lot of those guys are like conventional speedsters. And then you got guys like Soto and Naylor who are not necessarily very fast, but they know when to pick and choose. But anyways, that's going to do it for us. The division series is just starting right now. So if you aren't watching right now, go ahead. You can click off and go turn on your television. Do you disagree with us? Let us know at LAR_baseball on Instagram and Twitter. Follow Alex at the Sports Guy 242. Follow Splash at Mr. Splashman19. Follow myself at Mathias_A_K. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Smash that like button. Leave a comment. Leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. But for all of us at LAR, Thank you for listening. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon. Thank you.
Go Mariners.